Welcome everyone to class. All right, so the agenda will be the same as last week. We're going to go over homework first and do a lecture, our listening activity, and then we'll go over our homework assignments very quickly. So we'll start with the homework review. Let's have a couple volunteers stand up and share what they read or watched. That was a form of English media over this past week.
Our group 2 is also ready.
Okay. I don't see your camera on. Is it possible to, if we could turn it on for the class?
Homework ready? Are you ready with your homework? Okay, ready.
Group 2, can you turn your camera on, please? Oh, thank you. We have a participant from group 1. Hello.
Hi, I'm Rashmi. I watched the Garfield. It is beautiful cartoon. My favorite character. It is my favorite character is Captain John.
Mhm.
I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jenny. I read the book Mina last week. It was written by Mr. Martin Senior. It is a story. It is a children's story book. I like to read and again and again. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have a book you can read again and again. It's good practice.
Good morning. I'm Satani.
Morning.
I read yesterday this book. It is Nancy Doe. The main character is Nancy Doe. It is written by Caroline King. Yeah, I like to read again and again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. The Nancy Drew books were also some of my favorite growing up.
I'm fine. My name is Satani. Last week I read the book Ambeado. It is children's story book. There are two main characters, Mal and Sunil. It was written by T.B. Evarathan. Thank you.
Selara, excuse me,
Yeah?
Selara.
Yes.
And group 2 is also ready. Our group 2 classroom also. Can you switch on the video? There's a message coming that host has to
I
switch on video. Please check it because our camera is not working.
oh.
Two.
Yeah.
There's a message that
Can you possibly X out the message? There might be a X.
cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. There's a message like that.
I don't think I'm the host. I'm not sure.
I did not turn off your video. I can ask to start it. Does that work? Do that.
Okay, now there's a message. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
There you go. Okay, I see you guys now.
Right. Okay. Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I am Pavani. I read the book Beauty and the Beast. It was written by Mrs. J. Ellsworth. It is the children's story book. There are too many characters in Beauty and the Beast. I like to read again and again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Dhananjana. My favorite cartoon is Jungle Book. Its main character is Mowgli. It is very beautiful. I like it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Sorry.
I read a book last week. Its name is Seaside Family. It was written by Mr. Enid Blyton. It has several characters. The characters are Anne, Belinda, and Mike. Seaside Family is a children's storybook. I like to read it again and again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sanchala. My favorite book is Apur Iskole. It was written by Sudat Rohan. Its main characters are Patricia and Isabel. It is very famous book and very beautiful book. I like this book. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Last week, I read the book Marvel Saturday. It was written by Mr. Sherlock Holmes. It is a storybook. There are two main characters, Sherlock Holmes and Watson. I like to read it again and again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we have about a minute. Does anyone else want to share from either of the two classrooms?
Senana, two of
Hello.
our students with the
Oh, yeah.
dialogue. To
Okay.
present,
Perfect.
Hi, good morning, Pavani. Good morning, Mithra. Last week, I read a book. It was named The Princess and the Dragon. It was written by Miss Annie Blyton. Yes, I do. Last week, I read the book. It was named Ginigat Palpata. It was written by Mrs. Annie Blyton. There are two main characters, the princess and dragon. I like to read it again and again. There are two main characters, Larry, Hattie, and Fish. I like to read it again and again. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you. That was really great. I think maybe if we could start applying that more. I'll figure it out on my end. But that was so incredible. Thank you. Good job, both students. I appreciate your effort. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to our lesson of the week. And I want to thank everyone again for such for the amazing participation. Okay, so for our lesson today, we're going to continue our lesson on figurative language, and we're going to focus mostly on onomatopoeias today, and then get an introduction on personifications. So I know that these may seem like very long words, but they are, sorry, there you go. These may seem like very long words, but they are kind of easy to break down and pronounce. So the onomatopoeia is just pronounced ono and then onomato and pia. So just break it down to that. So just onomatopoeia. And personifications is personifications. I know onomatopoeia may be a strange word at first to look at, but the concept of the word is actually pretty simple. So an onomatopoeia is just a sound that's written out as a word. So for example, a dog that says woof, woof is a type of onomatopoeia. So it is one of the more simple figurative languages that we use a lot in English. And it really helps kind of bring your writing to life. So instead of saying the boy slept and the sound of the clock was annoying him, you could say the boy tried to sleep, but the tick-tock of the clock prevented him from sleeping. It's just things like that that really help, that kind of bring the audience into your writing and help spice it up a little bit. So these are examples right here. Woof, bark, yip, bow wow. These are all examples of onomatopoeias that represent the sound that dogs make. So here's another or more examples of onomatopoeia. So if we say water is falling, the noise it would make is splash. So we could say the water is splashing on the ground. Sorry, the quality of the picture is a little hard to read. But so when you have two cars that crash into each other, we can use the onomatopoeia crash. So that's actually a word that we use very commonly, and people don't know that it's an onomatopoeia, but it is, because it's a word that essentially represents a noise, right? So splash of water or a crash of cars, or even a sound that an animal makes. So for example, a frog would make the sound ribbit or croak. Those are both examples of onomatopoeias. So here are some onomatopoeias that are used in sentences. So the first one is the bee buzzed around the flowers in the garden. The bee buzzed around the flowers in the garden. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what is the onomatopoeia that is used in this first sentence? So remember, it's a word that is buzzed is correct. Good job. So the bee buzzed around the flowers. And we know that it's a onomatopoeia because sorry. We know it's an onomatopoeia because it is basically using the noise that a bee makes, and it's transforming that into a word. So we have buzz, which is the same sound that, or a similar sound that to what bees make. How about the thunder rumbled loudly in the distance? In this sentence, what would be the onomatopoeia? Rumbled is correct. How about the next one? The kettle whistled when the water reached boiling point. Whistled is correct. So whenever your moms are making tea, you notice the sound that kettles make when they're near their boiling point, right? That whistle. And so that is another way that we can utilize an onomatopoeia to kind of bring the sentence to life. Instead of just saying the kettle made a noise when the water reached boiling point, we can say the kettle whistled. It makes the sentence more interesting. How about the cat meowed at the door, wanting to be let in? Meowed is correct. And remember, animal sounds are very commonly referred to when we're talking about onomatopoeias. So even farm animals, like cows moo, and then pigs oink. So just a lot of the words that they make, we can use them to kind of again to bring life to the sentence or the paragraph that we're writing. So here's another activity that we're going to do. I'm going to give you an example of the sentence, and then you guys can tell me which word fits best. So the dog at the mailman, which word do you think fits best? Barked is correct. That's a correct answer. How about the pan?
The pan on the floor. The pan on the floor.
A boom is more kind of related to an explosion. So I think the better option for the pan would be clanged. So clanged is like if it when it hits the floor and it kind of like a clang noise, I guess is what we use in in English to kind of represent that, like a clang or yeah. But a boom, I think, would be more it would make more sense if for example, like you dropped like a textbook on the floor. That would make a very loud boom, you know? Since it's metal, we kind of use clang because it shows like a higher pitched it shows like a higher pitched, I guess, noise that we're expecting from the noise of the metal. Okay, the next one, we're going to make our own onomatopoeia. So the cows at the farmer. What do you think? What is a good onomatopoeia we could use for this sentence? Mood is yes. That would be a good example of onomatopoeia that we could use. The cow's mooed at the farmer. How about this next sentence? Sunish stayed awake because of blank of the clock. So what onomatopoeia could we use in that sentence? So we're kind of thinking, what noise would the clock make? Good job. That's correct. So the clock constantly makes a tick tock sound, and we can actually use that as an onomatopoeia in a sentence that we write. So Sonic stayed awake because of the tick tock of the clock. Or another one, if we have the birds. So the birds at the passerbys. I'll just at the people walking by. So what do you think the birds could have done to the people walking by? There's a lot of options for this.
By the way, Tamara, the other class is joining right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Chirping.
Yep, that's correct. Chirping. The birds chirped at the people walking by. Okay. Now we'll move on to personification because it seems like you guys all understand onomatopoeias really well. So again, it's just words that are noises. Great job on this. So the next one is a little more challenging, but it's essentially a type of figurative language that attributes human characteristics into a animal or an inanimate object. So things that don't generally have human characteristics. So human characteristics can include like different emotions that we have or different behaviors that we tend to kind of show, as humans. So for example, if I say the clumsy turtle enjoys the sun, what we're essentially saying is the turtle is clumsy, right? And clumsy is generally an attribute that we associate with humans. So you wouldn't generally call a turtle clumsy, but by saying that, we're personifying the turtle. So the clumsy turtle enjoys the sun. By saying enjoy, we're also personifying the turtle because and the characteristic of joy, or being able to be enjoyed, is a human behavior, human emotion that we are attributing again to the turtle. So the clumsy turtle enjoys the sun is what we're essentially personifying the turtle. Hi. This is the new class.
Hello, can the teachers in the new classroom hear us?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Sonara, could you just possibly give actually you can just start with personification. I think that's
Hey,
fine.
You want me to go over like the agenda? of this
No, it's
class?
okay. I think it's okay. It might take up too much time. We want to make sure we get to listening. Well, let's do personification. You just go over that again for the other class.
All right, so we'll restart on the personification activity. First, okay. Oh, welcome everyone. That we were covering onomatopoeias earlier, but now we're moving on to personification. So you'll be joining us for that section of the lesson. So a personification is a type of figurative language, and it's a type of figurative language that attributes human characteristics to inanimate objects or animals. So things that just don't generally have human characteristics. So what I'm saying by human characteristics is either an emotion or a type of behavior that's generally, tied to humans or associated with humans, right? So an example that we have is the clumsy turtle enjoys the sun. We're using the words clumsy and enjoys to personify the turtle because clumsy is a type of human behavior and to be able to enjoy something is a type of human emotion. So we are attributing that to the turtle. So in essence, we are personifying the turtle, right? So the clumsy turtle enjoys the sun. So that is an example of what personification is. Or another example is this third one right here. You could hear the trees whisper in the dark. So this is, referring to, the wind that blows through trees. It makes, like a sound as it blows through. And when we're saying the trees whisper in the dark, we're essentially attributing a human behavior, which is whispering, to the trees. So it's very poetic. You can hear the trees whisper in the dark. Or another example is the stars danced in the midnight sky. Dancing is a behavior that's a human behavior, right? And we are attributing that to stars. And so again, that is how do we have a question? I'm sorry. Oh,
I think you're
no,
good.
no, sorry. Okay. So essentially what we're doing here is we're personifying the stars in this sentence, right? Because we're attributing the behavior, the human behavior of dancing to the stars. So here's some examples of personification. If we say the trees danced in the wind, what we're saying here is that the trees essentially when trees sway in the wind, they feel it looks like they're dancing, right? And so that human behavior of dancing is attributed to the trees. Another one is the stars winked in the night sky. Winked in the night sky. So when stars twinkle in the night sky, they may look like they're winking, right? And so that is kind of a behavior, a human behavior that we are tying to the stars. So we're personifying the stars. So we're turning them human. Just think about that. Like we're turning the trees human, like the trees are dancing, the stars winked. Or another one that is very common is the sun smiled down at us, or the sun smiled happily down at us. The sun can't actually smile, right? But we're attributing the human aspect of the human behavior of smiling to the sun, and then the human emotion of happily, because the sun can't be happy, right? That's a human emotion. So we're taking that human emotion and we're applying it to the sun. And in that way, it's very poetic because what we're saying is, the sun was very bright and it's a, lovely morning and it's shining down on us. And so that's kind of, how we can use these personifications to, again, like bring life to our sentences, like what we do on onomatopoeias, right? Another example is the gray clouds cried drops of rain. Now the clouds aren't actually crying, but the fall of the raindrops and the word cried is a human behavior. And so when we associate that to the actual clouds, it personifies the clouds. So this is a type of figurative language, sorry, that is very commonly used all throughout. You'll see it a lot in English writing and texts, and even in English. A lot of the times you'll see it in English poetry. Okay, so for the personification activity, what I'm going to do is give you guys 2 words, and I want you to kind of associate those, or in, for example, like in a sentence, right? So if I say the bird, or I'll give you this one. Singing. So the birds plus singing. So how would we use that in a sentence?
Senara, your question, please.
Yeah, so I was asking if we could form this into a sentence. So I'll give you an example for the first one. So for example, the birds were singing early in the morning.
To build up a sentence using them.
Or maybe here, the better one I could do is the so how about we'll do this instead, because I think this might be a little confusing. So
Yes.
if the birds were singing
Okay.
early in the morning, that is, we're attributing the behavior of singing
The bird
to the
singing,
bird.
like that.
Yeah, so this is
Yes.
an example of personification because we're personifying the bird. So how about this one? How can we attribute a human behavior to grass in the wind? Because we've seen grass in the wind, right? And it kind of makes this movement. So how can we personify this movement? How can we attribute, this flowing movement to human behavior? Yeah, perfect. The grass danced in the wind. That's amazing. So the grass danced in the wind. So now what we're doing is attributing the human behavior of dancing to the grass. And you can see in that way we're making it, very poetic. Another one we could use is the, or sorry. So how can we attribute a human emotion to this?
Smart.
So we're trying to attribute a human emotion. So we can say angrily or happily. So what kind of word can we use in this? Yeah. You can say the dogs barked lovingly at their friends. That is what I heard. I'm sorry. Or if so, yeah, this works because what we're doing is essentially attributing a human emotion to the dogs, right?
The wind.
So in this example, we're going to
Everyone's
attribute
strong.
a human behavior to the wind during a storm. Sorry, say that one more time. Yeah, that we can say the wind was shouting during a storm. Or there you go. Or we could even use the wind was, yeah, screaming during a storm or shouting during the storm. It's so loud. Or we could do or even howling, which is yeah, the wind was howling during a storm. So those are all amazing examples. How about
Yeah, one cloud.
one cloud, sunny day?
Sunny
So
day.
how do we describe this one cloud in, say one more time? I cannot hear it. Hear you as well. I'm sorry.
One more time. One more time.
One more time, please. I'm so sorry. So here, I'll
They are
help you out.
saying laughing.
Oh,
Laugh.
laugh. There's only one cloud laughing during a sunny day. Yeah, we could, that's a good example. Another one we could think of is if there was only one cloud in the sky, we could think of the cloud as lonely, right? So there was only one lonely cloud during the sunny day. Or we could say there was only one, maybe just one happy cloud or one laughing cloud. So it just depends on the context, definitely. But if we're thinking of the cloud and it's just alone, we could say that it's a lonely cloud, right? There's only one lonely cloud during the sunny. But you guys do understand the idea or the concept of personification very well, because that if you say a cloud is laughing, that is a human characteristic. So we could say that the cloud was laughing. That is personifying the cloud. So we could say it's lonely or even one laughing cloud. Sorry. There was one lonely cloud or one laughing cloud during the sunny day. Okay. It's time to move on to the listening activity now, but you guys did an amazing job with personification, and all the examples and that you guys used, fit very well. Okay. So last week we covered Brazil, and there was a couple questions that we weren't able to finish. So we'll finish those questions, and then after that we'll move on to this week's country that we're going to cover. So the first question is, what are the two biggest cities in Brazil?
In Brazil.
Southeastern Brazil was once completely covered with dense forest. Now it is the country's industrial capital, home to Brazil's biggest cities, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Covers only 11% of the country.
Let's see.
I'll play it one more time.
Answer C.
Answer C is correct. Good job. So the two biggest cities in Brazil are Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Sorry, my pronunciation may be a little off for those. Okay, the next one is, the next question is, even though these two big cities cover only 11% of the country, how much of the country's population lives here? So how much of Brazil's population lives here? Southeastern Brazil, sorry, let me skip to that part. Cities, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. It covers only 11% of the country. 43% of the country's population lives there. I'll play it one more time. Biggest cities, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. It covers only 11% of the country. 43% of the country's population lives there. C is correct. Good job. So even though these countries only cover 11% of the population, about 43% of Brazil's population lives in those two cities. All right, so the next question is, I'm going to read it aloud very quickly. And the question is, how many times has Brazil won the FIFA World Cup? So Brazil have won the FIFA World Cup 5 times, the most in history, while Germany and Italy have won it 4 times. Also say it one more time. Brazil has won the FIFA World Cup 5 times, the most in history, while Germany and Italy have won it 4 times each. Sorry, these are not formatted correctly. So we'll try it one more time. Brazil has won the FIFA World Cup 5 times, which is the most in history, while Germany and Italy have won it 4 times. So how much times has Brazil won the FIFA World Cup? 3 is correct. They've won it 5 times. Answer 2 is 4, and that is Germany and Italy. So Germany and Italy have won the FIFA World Cup 4 times, and Brazil has won it 5 times.
Brazil won the FIFA. How many times?
Okay. Now we're going to move on to our next one, and then this country, sorry, let me get my audio files up. Okay. So we're going to do Iran next. And the first question is, what is the name of Iran's first city? I'm going to go ahead and play the audio file right now. Iran is one of the oldest nations in the world, with a history dating back tens of thousands of years. The country's first great city, Susa, was built on the Central Plateau around 3200 BC. That was the full audio file. I'll play it one more time. Oh. Sorry, say that one more time, a little louder. Sorry, the audio is cutting out really badly. Can we try one more time?
It's better to play it again.
Okay, I'll play one more time. Sorry. Thank you for telling me. Iran is one of the oldest nations in the world, with a history dating back tens of thousands of years. The country's first great city, Susa, was built on the Central Plateau around 3200. B is correct. So Susa was the name of Iran's first city. Good job. Okay, the next question is, where was Iran's first city built? Where was the first city built? Iran is one of the oldest nations in the world, with a history dating back tens of thousands of years. The country's first great city, Susa, was built on the Central Plateau around 3200 BC. So where was it first built? Was it built on a dense jungle, a dry desert, a central plateau, on a mountain? C is correct. So Iran's first city was built in on a central plateau in Iran. Okay, the next question is, when was Iran's first city built? Iran is one of the oldest nations in the world, with a history dating back tens of thousands of years. The country's first great city, Susa, was built on the Central Plateau around 3200 BC. C is correct. Good job. You guys are doing amazing with this one. So Iran's first city was built in 3200 BC. Okay, we'll move on to our next audio. So the first question is, when did the Persian Empire arise? So when did the Persian Empire arise? And I use that word specifically because we can listen for that in the audio file. In 559 BC, Persian Empire arose in the southwestern Iran and conquered the Mesopotamians and Egyptians. The empire eventually extended from the Mediterranean Sea to what is now Pakistan, but it was conquered by the Greeks in 330 BC. So that was a full audio file. I'll play the shortened version of it because there's a lot of information in this one. In 559 BC, Persian Empire arose in the southwestern Iran. C is correct. So the Persian Empire arose around 559 BC. Okay. The next question is, who did the Persian Empire conquer? This was in 559 BC. Okay. In 559 BC, Persian Empire arose in the southwestern Iran and conquered the Mesopotamians and Egyptians. The empire eventually extended from the Mediterranean Sea to what is now Pakistan. But okay, I'll play it one more time. A is correct. So the Persian Empire conquered the Mesopotamians and the Egyptians. Good job. Okay. So in the audio file, we talked about how the Persian Empire expanded into the Mediterranean area. And then the Greeks conquered the area that they extended. So the question is, when did Greeks conquer that extended area? Okay, I'll play a portion of the audio file. Sorry. There you go. Egyptians. The empire eventually extended from the Mediterranean Sea to what is now Pakistan, but it was conquered by the Greeks in 330 BC. C is correct. All right. So the Greeks conquered the extended area that the Persian Empire had conquered in 330 BC. Okay. Audio file number 3. So where does Iran have mountains? Iran's mountains in the north and west have dense forests that offer habitats for brown bears, wild goats, wolves, and leopards. The country's central plateau is home to deer, gazelles, hyenas, and jackals, among other animals. So I'll play it one more time. And the question is, where does Iran have mountains? Iran's mountains in the north and west have dense forests. Should I play it one more time? D is correct. Good job. So Iran has mountains in both the northern areas and the western areas of its country. Good job. Now, the next question is, what type of environment do those mountains have? We have dry deserts, dense jungles, rivers, or grasslands that offer Iran's mountains in the north and west have dense forests that offer habitat. Sorry, I used the wrong word. I'm so sorry. This was a error on my end. I apologize. It is answer B though for this one. Okay. I apologize. That was my fault. I put jungles instead of forests. Sorry. But we'll move on to the next one because we have a lot of audios to cover. Okay. So the next question is, what is the national park in the north central region of Iran called? The national park. I'm going to play the audio now. Iran has several reserves and parks where wildlife thrives. One, called Kavir National Park, is located in the north central region and is known as Little Africa. Its plants and animals resemble those of Africa. This park is home to Iran's only cheetahs. Okay. I'll play it one more time. So the question is, what is a national park in the north central region of Iran called?
Iran has several reserves and parks where wildlife thrives. One, called Kavir National Park, is located in the north central region and is known as Little Africa.
Answer A.
A is correct. Good job. So Kavir National Park is a national park in the north central region of Iran. So the next question is, what is another name for that national park? So listen to the context.
Iran has several reserves and parks where wildlife thrives. One, called Kavir National Park, is located in the north central region and is known as Little Africa. Its plants and animals resemble those of Africa.
So what's another name for that national park? C is correct. Good job. So another name for Kavir National Park is Little Africa, because many of the animals and plants that they have there resemble the animals and plants that we can find in Africa. Okay. The next question is, this park, so Kavir National Park, is home to Iran's only what? So it only the question may be written a little weird, but essentially we're just asking what kind of creature is the only creature that is home to this park.
Iran has several reserves and parks where wildlife thrives.
I'm sorry. I think I misphrased that, but essentially it's this creature is one of the only ones left in Iran in this park specifically. They have other creatures. Okay.
Iran has several reserves and parks where wildlife thrives. One, called Kavir National Park, is located in the north central region and is known as Little Africa. Its plants and animals resemble those of Africa. This park is home to Iran's only cheetahs.
Answer B.
D is correct. Good job. So Iran actually used to have a lot of big cats, but they were all almost hunted to extinction there. Okay. The next audio, the first question will be, what type of calendar do Iranians use? What type of calendar? So I'll play the full audio file, then I'll play the portion.
One of the interesting facts about Iran is that Iranians use their own calendar, which is a solar calendar, meaning that its time is based on the Earth's movement around the sun. The first day of the year of spring is called Nowruz. The first 6 months have 31 days, and the following 5 months have 30 days. And the last month normally has 29 days, but 30 days in leap years.
Okay. So I'll play the portion that we want to listen to one more time. But and remember, the question is, what type of calendar do Iranians use? And the options are Gregorian calendar, lunar calendar, zodiac calendar, and solar calendar.
One of the interesting facts about Iran is that Iranians use their own calendar, which is a solar calendar, meaning that its time is based on the Earth's movement around the sun.
D is correct. So Iranians use something called the solar calendar. Okay. We have 2 more questions, but we are running a little short on time. So I think we'll just do this one question, and then after that, we'll just move on to covering our homework. But you guys are doing so incredible. Like, look at how much questions we were able to finish. Okay. Audio file number 5, and the question is, what is the first day of spring called in the solar calendar?
One of the interesting facts about Iran is that Iranians use their own calendar, which is a solar calendar, meaning that its time is based on the Earth's movement around the sun. First day of the year of spring is called Nowruz. The first 6 months.
Okay, play it one more time. C is correct. Good job. C is correct. So the first day of spring in the solar calendar in Iran is called Nowruz. Okay. I think we have. Ooh, we might be running a little short on time actually for this one. So I'll just move on to the homework portion, and I can just move this to next week, and then we'll cover a different country then. Okay. You guys did a really amazing job with the listening activity, and you guys are getting better and better every week. I remember in the first listening activity, I only had, I think, 2 slides of questions. Now I have almost 5 slides full of questions, and you guys are, just running through them. So I'm really, really proud of everyone's progress through that. And again, I want to thank the new class for joining us. I really appreciate you guys being here. So this is kind of how the class format works. I know you guys didn't get to see all of it, but this is kind of the general format that we follow. And I want to thank everyone in the new class for coming, and in the old classes, not in our old classes, but in our classes that have been participating. And for the homework for next week, what I tend to do is have everyone read in a book or watch some kind of video or just consume some kind of media that is in English. And next week, you'll just tell the class the title of the media, like the book or the movie that you watched and what it was about. And then you can, either write a couple sentences for it if you would like, just so it'll be easier for you. And this week, actually, we had such an amazing thing. 2 of our students came up and even did a small dialogue, which was so great. So, that's also another option as well. And then just another thing that I tend to, say a lot is to have as much English conversations as possible, because that is really how I was able to develop my English, once I immigrated here. It just try to have as much English conversations as possible, because that practice helps develop your English. Yeah, so that's all for this week. Thank you everyone for coming, and welcome to the new class. I hope to see everyone next week.
Yes, thank you to everyone who came.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
And to the new class, next week we will be better and we'll integrate more. So
Yes.
don't worry, this was kind of just the introduction.
Yes.
Thank you, Ramin. Thank you very much. Sinara, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. You guys did such an amazing job on participation this week. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.